and welcome to our weekly sales meeting for Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan. I know a few of you shot me messages, and no, I have no formal training in chair dancing, but I'm often mistaken as such. So appreciate you guys being here this morning. We have a tremendous follow-up to what was one of the largest and most successful events we put on this year in our business planning clinic last Monday. So the entire month of October is dedicated to business planning and getting our minds right, our plans right, and getting an action around 2023. Today, we are joined by an incredibly talented director of operations for a very successful team here in Ohio. And he's going to talk to us about the GPS and the 411, two hypercritical implementation tools in the Keller Williams ecosystem. That's at the top of the hour. Right now, we're going to dive in with some of your regularly scheduled programming, starting with a review of our beliefs. So this week, like every week, we are going to start our sales meeting with a conversation and a little bit of focus on one of these beliefs. And this week, I woke up this morning and I was looking through my phone and looking at my calendar for the rest of the week, which is a bad thing to do first thing in the morning, but I do it. And I realized there are exactly 75 days remaining in 2022. 75 days. And then I thought to myself, well, those are full days. There are those among us who like to do things on the weekend and holidays other than work. So how many actual business days do we have left? And I believe the count, depending on where the observation of some of the holidays falls, it's less than 50. I can guarantee you that. So less than 50 days business days remain in 2022. And that made me think, made me very sad. And then I looked outside and saw that winter is here. And then I got sadder. And then I thought about what we could do about it. And I thought about our fourth belief, which is commitment. Commitment in all things. And even though time marches on and the clock feels like it is ticking down, I want to encourage everybody at some point today to kind of revisit with where you're at with respect to your goals, where you're at with respect to your mindset, your health, your wellness, your finances. A lot can change in 75 days, right? There's this really popularized fitness and diet program. I think some people on this call have actually participated in, called 75 Hard. So 75 days, you could change everything in your life in 75 days. You could make every commitment that you made to yourself at the beginning of this year. You could make it all come true in 75 days. So there are two paths that we can trot down at this point in our year. We can hang it up and talk about, what Sean Hadley made the interest rates too high. I'm not going to be able to close all the buyers that I wanted to close. I'm not going to get the listings that I want because prices are starting to level off. Or we could say, hey, I'm committed to my goals. I'm fixing those in my mind, period, the end. Those are non-negotiable, the outcomes for 2022 for me. And the things that will be negotiable, or the things that can vary, are my actions and my activities. If we're truly committed to our goals, our values, our families, living our best life, funding it with a business, there are things that we can do. If you don't know what can be done, call me, text me, email me. I will help you if you're committed through the end of the year. So take that conversation back with you to your team, somebody else in the office, your spouse, a friend, a family member. What's something that you could set for the next 75 days and say, if I if I just added 2 contacts to my database a day for the next 75 days, I'd have 150 more contacts by the end of the year. And for some of you, that might be 150 times what's in your database, or it might just be plus 10%. Either the way, you're going to start next year with a much bigger database. So something simple like that, right? Maybe do 1 extra dial every day. Who knows what yields from that? But remain committed through the end. As long as there's time left on the clock, we've got a shot. All right. And with the year wrapping up, a new year begins. And in the new year, we think a lot about renewal. And the renewal of your dues for your board and MLS will come quickly. Some of your boards are start coming due as early as December. And then most are due by the end of January. The opportunity that you can exploit here within Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan is, if you need to stash some cash so that your dues can be paid at the beginning of next year, we can slide some of your commission in your next closing over into your training savings, so that when the board dues or MLS dues show up after the first of the year, you already have them covered. So if you are interested in that, please email Erica or Julia for more details on how to do that and what you would like to do there. But you're going to hear us talk more and more about dues and them being due throughout the course of 2022. All right, let's get some happies rolling here. September, very strong month all around. Lots of strong performance by individuals, groups, and teams collectively. I want to give a few shout outs here. Lori Daig taken 7 listings in the month of September, and Carol Joyner with 5. Closed units, Allison Benoit, 8 closings in the month of September. That's 2 a week for those of us that like that math. And then Jeremy Oles with 6 on the month. In terms of listings taken for our teams, Satrina Young and the Satrina Young Real Estate Group with 6 listings in the month, and the Distinct Home Group with Ina Maravin, 14 closings in the month of September. 14 closings in the month of September. And then for our groups, shout out to the Malloy team. Love seeing them pop up there. 8 listings, Impact Group, 8 listings, Golden Group, 9 listings. Golden Group also with 20 closings in the month of 20 closings in the month of September, and the List, Sell, and Buy team with 17 closings in the month of September. So there is, if there was ever a doubt as to whether or not there's a lot of business happening out there, rest assured there is a lot of business happening out there. The market does not dictate whether or not you do business. Your activities will, and thankfully you are in a place that is going to encourage, promote, support, and celebrate those activities. Speaking of encouraging and supporting, let's talk about what we have coming up from a training standpoint. Little addition to the calendar this month. Really excited about this one. Sorry that I can't make it, but our operations team, Julia, Carrie, Erica, the squad, is going to be holding a Q&A for any new agents today at 1 p.m., the 3rd floor of the Pepper Pike training room. If you've got questions, they've got answers. Julia, Carrie, anything to add there? Anything that you want anybody to know about this afternoon's session?
We are so excited for you guys to come join us. We are upstairs. We will be upstairs, and we'll be ready to answer any of your questions. So please come with some.
Great opportunity, guys, just to, you do not have to wander through the wilderness alone. We have an outstanding team that is here to help in any way, shape, and form. So if you are struggling with anything, I promise you these 2 individuals are going to be able to get your mind right. All right. Real estate career nights. We have 2 of them every month. We had one last night in our Pepper Pike office, and it was a lot of fun. We laughed again, we laughed some more. They are really a tremendous amount of fun. But you know what makes them so much fun is we have agents who attend those with their guests, or agents who just happen to be in the office on a Monday night will pop upstairs and share their experience. So last night we had about 15 people as a part of our career night in Pepper Pike, and the majority of those people were guests from either Romero, Eddie, Quan, the Social team, or Uday, and which is great. You know, over 75% of the people who join this company name an agent in this company here locally. And we are thrilled that we grow our organization inside out, and that our agents are so excited to bring their friends, families, and former colleagues into the fold. What else made last night so great was that Romero, Phillips, and Eddie Donnelly were both there and were able to share the perspective of an agent in our company. And I can't tell you how impactful that is for folks who are considering Keller Williams as a brokerage, or for folks who are considering real estate as a career, right? When they meet somebody in the flesh, it really helps bring perspective to their future experience and give them the confidence that, yes, I can do this. So really appreciate everybody being a part of that. And we have another one coming up in River next Monday, October 24th at 6:30 p.m. Very fun event, very, very fun event this Saturday. And it looks like the weather will be pretty peachy by the weekend. So don't let anything that's happening outside your window right now scare you away from signing up for our annual trunk or treat and chili cook-off. We have a lot of folks who have adopted this as their client event. So they're setting up a trunk, they're doing a chili, and they're inviting all their friends, families, and clients. So do that. Even if you don't do a trunk or you don't do a chili, start texting people that you're hosting an event at your office and you want them to come by. Carrie's going to put in the chat the links to sign up for chili and for trunk. Please do that. We love the opportunity to line this out and have all of the kiddos and some of you adults come through in costumes and collect candy and try chilies. It's a very fun time. Do not miss the event. Do not miss out on the opportunity to leverage the event. Get some touches in, get some contacts in, and get some mind share with your people about real estate through a very fun event that we're putting on for you. Now, let's talk KW. The KW effect is coming to Cleveland. It has not darkened the door of Northeast Ohio in over 3 years. And it is one of the most engaging and excellent KW events that does the world tour. There's a guy named Aaron Kaufman, who is the chief evangelist officer for Keller Williams. There is nobody more passionate, nobody more excited, and nobody more in line with the value proposition of Keller Williams than this guy. He does a limited number of events each year. We had to get on his calendar, I think, back in May to get him here for October. This is a once in a few year opportunity. And listen, if you are interested in learning more about profit share and how to be intentional and purposeful about taking advantage of the literally over $1 million a year that our local office shares, this is a great event for you. If you're new to Keller Williams, or you joined Keller Williams in the last couple of years and haven't been able to engage with or really soak up any of the regional or national events because of this pesky little thing called a pandemic, I said that weird, a pandemic, then this is a great opportunity to plug in and drink from the fire hose of knowledge as it relates to the entire value proposition of Keller Williams. And then finally, if you're looking for an opportunity to network with other agents throughout Northeast Ohio. This is a regional event, so there will be agents from every market center in Northeast Ohio there. Great networking opportunity. Doors open at 8:30. Party starts at 9. And it'll go till about 12 or 12:30. We're going to kick things off with a special, exclusive, not recorded, not going to be available anywhere else, market update from Cross Country Mortgage. So Cross Country is our official sponsor for this event, and they will be kicking it off with 30 minutes of conversation about what the hell's going on in this market. What does it mean? Why suddenly does the decisions that the UK and the central banks in Europe make, why do those matter to us? Who is Volkert, and why do I hear his name so frequently these days? All of those things and more, so that you can be a subject matter expert for your clients and take that information right to their doorstep on your way to walk in for a listing appointment. So if there was an event that you were going to go to in the next 90 days, this would be the one. Take advantage of it. Grab your tickets now. Links in the chat box. I promise you'll be hearing more about it. As we move into the month of November, I want everybody to make Wednesday, November 16th, a blocked off day on their calendar. We will be hosting our gratitude gatherings in both offices. That day we'll be doing a brunch in the Rocky River office from 11 to 1, and we will be having a evening appetizer event in Pepper Pike at the end of the day. Really excited for this. For those of you who remember these from years gone by, they are very fun. We will probably do it potluck style and give some opportunities for everybody to show off their best frittatas or sliders or whatever their dish of choice is. But then we spend some time loving on each other and talking about what a great year it's been, and shouting out the people who have helped us make it one of the best years in the history of real estate. Now that's all of the mushy gushy gratitude, put it out there stuff. And then in December, we throw a really great party. So block your calendars now as well for our holiday party, which is going to be the first Saturday in December. And if you were there last year, and if you weren't there last year, I don't want to tell you what you missed out on, but it was a ton of fun. So mark your calendars for those two dates, and we will look forward to seeing you there. Off to our partners, going to throw it over to the person you call when things go badly. His name's Sean Hadley.
Lovely, Mike. Thank you very much. Okay, so just want to touch on kind of the usual stuff, interest rates. Yesterday was a great day. Rates did not go up, so we'll just take that as a small victory. But for the past, obviously this year and the last couple of weeks, rates, 8 weeks running, rates have been either flat or up. Just to give you kind of a quick little story this morning, I had a buyer call, and we actually, conversation started yesterday. They completed an application overnight. I sent over a pre-approval letter this morning, and we walked through just the normal process. And believe it or not, this buyer is excited. Sometimes I have to remember this is an exciting process. Interest rate, yes, they've gone up. It's not the worst thing in the world, and it just is what it is. It's what so many buyers have kind of, those are the exact words they've told me when we're kind of running through rates and payments and such. But this buyer couldn't buy earlier this year. There was a new job coming soon. They were relocating to Northeastern Ohio, and really they're just thrilled with all the information I had for them. And I said, hey, it's quite possibly the rates could go up over the coming weeks and coming months. And, more or less her attitude is, again, her words, it is what it is. And she's just excited about being in a home. So, sometimes it's important to, remember to be positive. This is an exciting process. And when we microanalyze interest rates and the market so much day to day, that really it is an exciting process for home buyers. I just dropped in. I know we've talked about the 1.0 and the 2.1 buy down a couple of times in the previous few meetings. I do have a new flyer I dropped in there. This one does a little bit better job of illustrating kind of the actual benefit or the cost difference. So just wanted to put that in there. And Chris, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah. with the buy down, I think a lot of people get stuck in the weeds trying to do the math, and it's a lot of math to kind of do in your head. That flyer is really nice because it breaks it down with a nice example. Here's some numbers. More than that, I would say if you have someone asking about this program, you yourself have questions about it, let us know. We'll do the math for you, put it in simple terms. And, you know, kind of the way I've been pitching it to people is if you can get a seller credit, we can use that money to lower your interest rate 1, maybe 2 points for the first couple of years. That could have hundreds of dollars of change in your monthly payment. And once people hear that, you know, let us do the math on the back end for you, but they're excited about the prospect of that. So thanks.
Yep. And the reminder I just tell people, if you can get a 1% credit from the seller, that's enough money for the buyer to buy down their interest rate 1% for a full year. That can be a sizable difference and really help, you know, ease a buyer into the next home. So thanks everyone. Go Guardians.
Thanks.
Yeah, as we move through this shifting market, there are opportunities to leverage Sean, Don, and Chris in scenarios like the one that they just described, that some of us have never seen before, right? Seller concessions and seller credits, and, you know, getting people to have to buy down points. Like, these might be new things to you, even if you've sold 30 homes. So don't be afraid to lean into those guys and take advantage of the opportunity to have them help you make a great deal. All right, over to the title team, Tiffany and Jade. Whoopsie daisies. Whoops.
Good morning, everyone.
All right.
So October is Cybersecurity Month, and I just wanted to go over a couple of things to keep in the back of your mind for you and your clients. One, we'll never send revised wiring instructions. So the wiring instructions we send at the beginning of the transaction is going to be the wiring instructions towards the end. It will never vary the account number and routing number from those original instructions. 2, once we send the instructions, it's always a good practice, no matter what title company you're using, call that title company, verify with a actual human that you are in fact to wire them to that account and routing number. The third one is we, for every deal we do, we ask the buyer and seller to do buyer and seller pre-closing documents. They are just documents that have all of their information, allows us to process the file completely. However, in those documents, there is personal sensitive information, social security number, bank number, loan number. So we do send those from a secure portal. Make sure that, or encourage them to complete them in that secure portal. I understand sometimes with elderly clients, you know, they get a little frustrated with it. And they sometimes, you know, print them out the old school way, fill them out by hand, scan them and send them back. We do understand that, but again, try to encourage your clients to use that secure portal for their own safety. And the last but not least, if they do send any sensitive documents, such as that PDF that I just was speaking about, make sure they send that secure through their email. And that is about it. That's all I got today. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It can be very exciting and intense and fast moving when it comes to deals, but safety and cybersecurity is a big part of it. It will become an even bigger part of it as we continue our march towards more and more technological advancements. All right. And then I think I saw Miss Gina Legeza on this call.
Absolutely.
Gina, are you here this morning? Good morning.
Good morning.
How are
Good morning.
you?
Of course I'm here. Doing good. Can you believe it's furnace season, Michael? People are actually turning on their furnace in mid-October. And with that in mind, a little fun fact, 80% of homeowners experience a major system failure in the first days of ownership. Knowing that we know that statistic, they'll have no recourse of any kind of help for repair or replacement if you don't put a home warranty on every transaction. And speaking of putting a home warranty on each transaction, we have a new warranty and our new pricing structure is $499 with a $100 deductible and $535 with a $50 deductible. I'm open for calls or any questions everybody might have. just wanted to explain this morning the importance of making sure that your clients are protected and that your referral tree is protected by placing the warranty on. You'll get follow-up on any claims the property might have, and you know your clients are going to call you for help. So make sure that you have that protection and have my expertise every step of the way by putting a home warranty on your properties. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. And guys, home warranty or no, today's weather is either going to be a thorn in your side and screw everything on 480 up, or it's going to be an excuse to call anybody that you have sold a house to in the last 6 months and have a conversation with them to ensure that everything's going well. Now, if they have a warranty and things aren't going well, you can direct them into that resource. If you were unable or chose not to leverage a warranty in the transaction, you still have the opportunity to add value to that person in the home ownership process and garner a referral from that person because, oh my God, what do our clients always say? You called me at just the right time. Well, calling today to ensure that everything's working right with their new home, even if they bought it 12 months ago, right? And it made it through the first winter. That's such an easy and great touch. So go pull that file either in your command database or probably in the Excel spreadsheet, or just search for all the DAs that you received from Carrie or Erica in the last 12 months and start calling the people that you sold homes to, right? Easy touch today to get to 20 contacts. All right, that takes us to the top of the hour, which means it's time to bring to the main stage my main man, Mike Davis. Now, it is no secret that I've never met a Mike that I don't like, but Mike Davis actually goes above and beyond the standard, Mike likeness, in that he's a big brain. I think that those glasses are props just to make him look even nearly as smart as he is. So Mike Davis is the director of operations for the Kelly Wiley team in Jackson, Ohio. Now, if unlike me, you did not grow up in the southern half of the state, you might not know where Jackson is, but it's a town somewhere between Cincinnati and West Virginia. And it is it's a beautiful part of the state. Not that there are any bad ones in Ohio, but it is. Mike, would you describe Jackson as a major metropolitan area?
I think we can safely do away with that concept. We are a town of 7,200 people in a county of 33,000. So MapDOT is probably more accurate.
MapDOT. Now, in a town with only 7,000 people, that might mean that there are, I don't know, 2,500 homes or less. And somehow, some way, you and the Kelly Wiley team were able to sell, I think by my stat count, just under 200 of them for about just under $40 million in total volume last year. So massive market share belonging to the Kelly Wiley team in that area. And you also are the franchise owner of a Cyberbacker franchise, which I know we have a lot of Cyberbacker fans, a lot of people leveraging virtual assistants in our company. So you must have some pretty tight systems and some pretty strong processes to navigate all of that success. Is that fair to say?
That would be extremely fair to say. Yes, we are heavy on process. We're heavy in systems. We follow the models. Mike, you and I have had an opportunity to spend some time together and talk. And so I'll just kind of explain who I am and how I came to be here today. Michael and I attended the Train the Presenter event over at Elevate a month and a half or so ago, and it was a tremendous event with a crazy high quality group, and it was very, very impressive. But I have been in the industry in some form or another for most of my adult life, and I have never seen ever a company that puts out models and systems for their agents, employees, staff at the high level that Keller Williams does. And it's no surprise to anyone who meets me, because I talk about it all the time, that I basically bleed Keller Williams red, because I believe in the systems and the models so much. It's to me, it's like the McDonald's French fry model. You know, when you go to work at McDonald's, they teach you how to, you know, how to work the French fry machine. There's a manual for that. And Keller Williams is the same thing. So we are super excited to be here today to participate in this. I'm high energy. I'm also super respectful of your time, and I promise I won't waste it. Michael asked me to talk today about the GPS and the 411 as it relates to business planning, and in the current shifting market that we're in, I think it's more important now than ever before to be on point on this. Carrie and I ran into Carrie at Fall Masterminds, and there was an overriding theme of back to basics, back to basics, back to basics, and do the fundamentals. And I'm telling you, this is as fundamental as it gets. It doesn't get any more fundamental, but moreover, there's not a more important part of the planning process than the GPS and the 411. They're laying it out here for you. So what I'm about to do is distill down a 4-hour seminar into about 35 minutes. So I'm going to see here if, Carrie, can I get screen sharing?
I can take care of that. I'm gonna make you the co-host.
All right.
I love that sales pitch, Mike. I know what the GPS and 411 are. I use them, and I'm excited to see this.
Well, I think even if you've been around for a long time and you know this information and you've heard it multiple times, many times, it's always great to go back and revisit these things, because they are so key to our success. You know, our team, we did almost 40 million last year with the Rainmaker, who's Kelly Wiley, and 2 sales agents. And we did it because we stay on point and we use systems, and all of these things are things that we do. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Can you see that okay, Mike?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, good deal. So today we're going to talk about the GPS and the 411. So our goal for today is to better understand why leveraging time management is so critical to growing market share, how to better utilize the GPS and 411 system as the foundation of your time management process, particularly as it relates to this shifting market. I'm also going to throw a bonus in there for you, which is I'm going to give you a little tip on how you can potentially up to 3x your overall productivity and results using the GPS and 411 by adding a couple of elements to that, or thought processes to it. So when we were at Mega Camp, it became apparent within about the first 30 seconds that we were going to be spending Mega Camp talking about the shifting market and what we had to do differently going forward as a company and as agents and as team members in order to succeed and to survive and thrive through this and gobble up market share. And the one thing that we know for an absolute fact is that whatever market share you gobble up through this challenging time, you're not going to give back. You're going to be able to keep that, and that's a statistical fact. And so Gary said, when the market shifts, you don't necessarily have to put in more hours in a day. You have to shift the way you spend your time. And I absolutely believe that's true. This is, Michael will know what this is. This is a screenshot from Broker Metrics. And this is the top few agents by volume and by deal count in your entire region. And it's not a coincidence that 4 out of the top 6 are Keller Williams. And
Actually,
one of the two who's not learned everything about it at Keller Williams. So we can just go ahead and call that 5. And it's because of these systems, models, and foundational tools that we have access to, that these people are at the top. And you can count on the fact that they use them. I promise you that they do. So let's talk about,
Mike, if I could just
yeah.
I want to hammer home a point there. And, if you could go back a slide,
Yeah, absolutely.
here's an interesting thing as well. Of all of those four that are Keller Williams agents in the top 6, every one of those has been in business since before the last shift, right? So when you talk about, and what's interesting is some of them started in the industry during that shift. And so sometimes when we talk about the shift, it can be really intimidating to some of our newest agents. And I was having a conversation with our productivity coach on the West Side, Wesley, this morning. And we said, man, the opportunity to be in the early stages of your career, right, and have this happen is, if you're focused on the fundamentals, you will blow past everybody who is focused on creativity or anything other than a model. And those opportunities don't necessarily exist in a rapidly appreciating market where it feels like anybody can find success.
I completely concur. Kelly is a great example of that. She started in the business in 07, and she was selling a whole lot of $350,000, $400,000 homes, and suddenly it all goes away, and she had 2 choices to make. And this is in her formative years in real estate. And she just decided, hey, if I have to do HUD homes, I'll do HUD homes. If I have to become the queen of the double wide trailer, I will become the queen of, and that's exactly what she did. And because of that, those skills that she learned through that time have allowed her to not just succeed, but to exceed other agents in the area. And so, yes, opportunity surrounds us right now. It's everywhere. And it's not like there are no homes that are going to sell. If you go back historically to 08, 09, 10, we're off 30% roughly. So 51 million homes will sell in a shifting market. You just have to go get yours. And what we're going to talk about today is going to help you be able to focus and learn how to do that. So we good, Mike? All right. So let's quickly go through this. So when you see the names on the top of that leaderboard, what you see is the top of this iceberg. You see the productivity. You see what they've achieved, what they accomplished. You hear their names. We talk about them. We put a pencil to it and figure out, oh my God, this is how much money they've made. But what we don't see is the purpose and the priority, because that's what's under the water. That's the big part of this whole process. And so we talk about purpose without priority being powerless. What does that mean? Does anybody want to just distill that down to its most basic? Anybody at all? Tough crowd. All right, here's the bottom line here, because for the sake of brevity, I'm not going to ask a lot of questions because there's a lot of information to cover. But the simple fact of the matter is those who write down their goals are 39.5% more likely to achieve them. And it's not just writing down your goals, it's what you do with your goals. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. That's what we're going to get into right now. So right now you have a shift-based goal setting toolbox at your disposal, as we do every day. And your tools are your GPS, to properly develop your plan, your 411, which is going to give you accountability to get on track and stay on track. Also the focusing question, which is hypercritical, and time blocking. Those are the most important in a shift. Those are the most important tools in your toolbox. And I just cannot possibly say enough how important it is to your fundamental success that you use every one of these tools. You have to. So let's start with GPS, which GPS is a couple of things. GPS is what we use on our cell phone to get from point A to point B. It's our direction. It's our roadmap. It's also a tool that we use, which is 1 goal, 3 priorities, and 5 strategies. And I'm going to suggest to you today that more than ever, it's really important to focus on keeping your number of goals to a very reasonable level. You need to be mindful that your big rock goals, your super big rock goals are the ones that you really need to focus on to survive and thrive through this shift. And it's easy to have, 19 different GPSs and for personal business and all this, but your focus, you need to distill this down to a pretty tight level. So let's talk about the fundamentals of goal setting. We're going to get, first of all, number one, we're going to get smart with our goals. So what is smart? They have to be specific. They have to be measurable. They have to be action oriented. They have to be realistic, and they have to be time bound. And let's take those specifics, those goals, and let's start with the specifics. And I'm just going to give you a couple little pointers here because we don't have time to go through all of it. But specific means don't say, I want to do X number. I want to make $200,000 this year, because you're leaving out a lot of the process when you say something like that. You need to be very specific as to how you're going to get there. And you need to be very specific as to what tools it's going to take to get you there and what those processes are in between there. So I implore you, set very, very specific goals. They have to be measurable. You have to be able to say, ask yourself this question: how will I know if I achieve that goal? Super simple. Easiest thing in the world. If you can't say how you know you're going to achieve the goal, then it's not measurable. They have to be measurable. They have to be action oriented. You need to be able to put down the steps that you're going to need to take to be able to get there. They also have to be realistic. I saw an interesting piece the other day. I'm a freak. I watch YouTube videos on Keller Williams stuff all the time. And I watched Wendy Papasan on talking about this the other day, and it was interesting. Her take was, you have to be realistic, and we want to set big goals. That's really important. But if you did 12 closings this year, to say I'm going to do 100 next year is probably not super realistic. What are you going to have to do to get there? Is it possible? Maybe you're Superman or Superwoman. I don't know. Maybe it is possible. But if you don't set realistic goals, what you're going to find is that you can shoot yourself out of the water. You can get depressed. You can give up if they're not realistic. Here's a kind of a guideline that I would give you. Give yourself, if you set a goal, make it about a 50-50 shot or a 60-40 shot that you can get it. Make it so high that there's a chance that you're going to fail. That's fine, because I would way rather shoot for the moon and not quite make it, but still do 200 transactions this year than to come up with some crazy low goal, hit it, and decide I'm going to take December off. It makes no sense. So be realistic, but also make sure that you are being very aggressive in your goal setting.
Just real quick, when it comes to that, one of the great things that I heard around this, because it's like, I really feel like I could do whatever under the sun, is if you are selling less than 50 units a year right now, let's say you're selling 24 units a year, the ceiling for goal setting is to double that, right? You could conceivably double that next year with the right models and systems and a strong GPS and 411. If you are selling more than 50 or more units a year, you want to be somewhere between a 25 and 75% increase, right? So if I'm selling 50 units, maybe 75 units is my target, because as you do more business, it is harder to just double the business. But if I've done 12 units and I really knuckle down and buckle down on models and systems, I can sell 24 units next year.
Absolutely. Kelly is a great example of that. She was an independent broker for years. And 2 weeks before the COVID lockdown, she decided to join Keller Williams because she was doing about 10 to 12 million a year in, year out, every year, could have continued doing that forever, but she wanted more. And so we went to Columbus, met with the market center staff, met with the OP. She walked out the door and said, I'm doing this, which is very un-Kelly-like. You'd have to know her. But she said, I'm doing this. I need this. I need these models. I need these systems. I need these like-minded people in my life. Move forward 2 years. The first half year that she was with Keller Williams was kind of a hybrid, her indie brokerage and her Keller Williams production. She did about $16 million. We doubled down on systems. We doubled down on models. And if they said, do it, we did it. We didn't question. We didn't, at no point did we say, hey, that sounds like a good idea, but I think if I do it my way, it'll be a better way. I promise you, if your way was a better way, that's the way they would teach it. So we followed the model. The next year, she went from 14 million, it was about 14.9 to almost 39 million. And it was insane. And it was just by following systems and models. I promise you, it wasn't rocket science. We didn't do anything magical. We just followed the systems and the models. So
well, let's talk about one of those, because I know we want to show what a GPS actually looks like, or how the 411 gets in the mix. So
yeah. So okay. So second thing. So just a couple more. I'll be quick on these.
Yep.
Use narrative to describe your goals. It is an absolute fact that if you use bullet points in your goal setting, they are half as meaningful to you mentally as if you use narrative. So here's a great example of how to set a goal. I will sell X units at Y price equaling Z volume, which will create this amount of GCI. You have access to what your average sale prices in your area. So it's super easy to come up with this stuff, but mentally it is far more important for you to do this than it is to do the other. You just use a bunch of bullet points. The other thing that I want you to focus on is leverage. That's people, systems, and technologies. If you are setting goals, you have to, when you get into, you've got your goals. And then you've got, when you get into priorities and you get into strategies, you have to start thinking about, how am I going to do all of this? So I want you to think what people you can leverage, what systems you can leverage, and what technology you can leverage. Crazy this is, the latest NAR study, tech study, showed that only 31% of all agents in the United States use a CRM. That's mind-numbing to me, mind-numbing. I will say KW agents, I'm sure, skew higher on that than other flags. But that being said, you've got to leverage systems, people, and technology. When you're setting your goals, and I'll go back. When you're setting your goals, remember it's one goal, 3 priorities, 5 strategies. You don't have to have 3 priorities. You don't have to have 5 strategies. Don't overcomplicate it. Focus on what's super important. You need to have at least a couple of priorities, and you need to have at least 3 strategies on how you're going to get there. But don't make it so complicated that you can't get through it. So write these goals out, write these things down. The GPS is the easiest thing in the world to fill out. You can find it online everywhere. It's super easy to fill out. But once you've done that, the most important piece to this whole puzzle is the accountability piece, which is your 411.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to you about this earlier. I want you to hyper focus on this. Don't set too many goals. Go with your biggest rocks, the ones that are the most critical to you right now, because you're going to have to focus so hard on doing all the right things on a daily basis. I want you to set a time daily to review your goals and review the focusing question. I want you to fall in love with your GPS. I want you to become fanatical about your goals and reviewing them. Take 10 minutes every single day. Make it the first 10 minutes of your day and go through it. Set a time monthly to review your goals and to review the focusing question monthly. Put it on your calendar, because if it's not on your calendar, it didn't happen. We all know that. And it's another fundamental. Again, we go back, fundamentals right now. You've got to set a time, you've got to review, and you've got to do it. So let's talk real quick. The focusing question, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? This is the thing that you have to ask yourself every single day on your goals, because they do change. They are a little fluid. Now, your goal doesn't change, but the thing that you need to do today might not be the thing that you needed to do last week. And when you review your goals on Sunday for the next week, you should review them weekly as well. I mean, you have to ask yourself, what's the one thing that I can do this week? And then every day, what's the one thing that I can do today that's going to move me forward to that? It's like, this is the greatest question that has ever been created in the history of questions for business success. It truly is, because it distills down everything about what makes you successful. And if you'll ask the question and you'll use it, you will disproportionately excel above other people. I promise you. It is the reason why so many people are where they are, is because they have leaned into this question and they've bought into this concept. So right now, I feel like as a group, we're in a unique position as a company to out excel everyone else. And it's because of this question, and it's because of the focus that it creates. But moreover, it's because we understand what happens during challenging times. And this is the thing that will propel you ahead of everybody else. Now, that being said, I'm going to give you a second focusing question, because I believe this is hypercritical too, right? Focusing question number 2. Yes. Here's focusing question number 2. What's the one thing I can stop doing such that by eliminating it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary? These are the time sucks, everyone. These are the things that keep us, that at the end of the day, when we say, when Michael says, hey, how'd your lead gen go today? And you say, well, God, I only got, in 6 calls because I had this and I had that and I had this and I had that. Stop and think about the things that you can stop doing that will ensure that you have time to do the things that you should be doing. Don't get caught in that web of busyness, right? There's work, and then there's work that matters. You have to focus on the work that matters. And this is the way. And if nothing else, it makes you conscious every day of what you're doing that you shouldn't be doing. So pay attention to that just a little bit, because there's ways to eliminate it. And then time block. For heaven's sake, you must time block. This is the key to all success when it comes to sales. I truly believe it. It's the ultimate productivity tool in my mind when it comes to moving you from where you are today to where you want to be next week. And I don't think you should be okay saying, well, I want to do, it's a shifting market, I want to do 75% of what I did last year. I don't think that's okay. I think you need to continue to move forward. And if you use these tools, you'll be able to. But in order for you to be able to focus in on the things that you should be doing, you have to time block, and you have to spend the time doing the activities that lead to the accomplishment. So how do you do that? The first thing that you do is build a bunker. When it comes time to lead gen, you've got to be in a place where you are comfortable, where you won't be bothered, in an environment that you can control. It's critically important that you do that. Store provisions, that's easy. If you're going to need water, bring some bottles of water. If you need some snacks, to get you through. If you need a little sugar, you need some, you know, some Skittles or something like that to give you a little shot, then have them there. You don't want to get up. You want to get into a rhythm and you want to roll with it. And as soon as good things start happening, you want to ride that wave. You want to sweep for minds. You want to think in advance. Okay, what could screw up my time block here? What are the things that I'm going to have to avoid? And you need to sweep for those minds, and you need to get rid of them. You need to put them off on somebody else. You need to use your assistant. You need to use a VA. You need to do something to get rid of those minds so that you can focus, and you need to enlist support. Those are the people around you. That is going to be your assistant or your cyberbacker or whoever who says, you're not going in there. No, I can't put you through on a call. He's tied up in a meeting right now. Everything has got to be like on point. And so you need support from other people to do that. You need support from your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, from your kids. They have to support you as well. They have to say, hey, you know, it's mommy needs this 2 hours. So like, I really need this 2 hours. I need you to promise me that unless the house is burning down, you're going to help me, because this is how it works. This is how mommy pays the bills. And so you have to have that help from everybody else. You have to time block. You have to spend all of that time doing your dollar productive activities at a high level, not going through the motions, doing them at a high level. I've been doing this a long time. And if you've been in sales at all ever, and you do any type of telephone work or lead gen, you know that, man, when you get a couple, you get on a roll, and it's time to ride that roll, because you're unstoppable. No one can tell you no. That's the mindset that you want to get into. You want to feel that. And the only way that's going to happen is if you time block and build a bunker where you can work and store your provisions and sweep for minds and get support from other people.
You know, Mike, I want to hammer this point real quick, because sometimes when we talk about time blocking, we think about like drawing a different box on our calendar and saying what we're going to do. And I think that if we intend to run a rigorous calendar and have chunks of time where we are going to make big pushes on certain projects or certain opportunities, the opportunity of dedicating the time, but what you're describing here is also changing the location, right? There's the time, the piece on my calendar, and then the block, which is blocking everything else out. And so, you know, I know, as well as probably every person on this call knows, it's hard to lead gen at home. And so what I'm going to encourage everybody to do, if you need to lead gen for 30 minutes or 3 hours, come into the office. Come into the office. Get into a call booth. Get into a call booth. Get, you know, the training room's open most of the day. Sit in the training room, right? Sit in the bullpen, listen to other people make calls, get energy that way. But I think it's so important that if you're going to put the time on your calendar to do a thing, put the location, put the bunker, the provisions, the pre-work, the expected distractions, and make that appointment with somebody else. Get a battle buddy. And your time blocks will become much more than things that you intend to do, and they become things that you have to do.
Yeah, and none of this is rocket science, and we all know it. We just need to be reminded of it from time to time, and we need to have that discipline to make ourselves do it when we don't want to. Some of my best results, honestly, some of my best results in sales, if I think back at times when I just went, oh my heavens, I can't believe what I'm doing here, I'm killing it, have been in times when I started and didn't really want to do it. And just for whatever reason, I made myself do it. I got into it, and the results came, and they became huge results. So I'm super passionate about that. And so like, that's basically what I've got for you guys today, because I knew I had a short period of time to get through this. I'm open to questions. I'm going to throw up just one more slide here real quick. This is how you get a hold of me. If you ever want to talk, you ever want advice on anything, if you ever want to just bounce something off somebody, I'm totally cool with that. I help everybody at Keller Williams. Don't care at all. And I'm here for you. Is it okay if I take 1 minute and just bounce off Cyberbacker for just a second, Mike?
Yeah, I was going to ask you to do that. We have a lot of people who leverage Cyberbacker. We leverage it as a leadership team, and so
Yeah.
I'd like you to just explain a little bit about what that is and you know, who in this audience might benefit from it.
Yeah, so Kelly and I became acquainted with Cyberbacker when one of our leadership said, listen, just take a call. We had a staff of 6 people, and one of our leadership came in and said, look, there are some holes there's some gaps you need to fill, and this would be a great way for you to fill those gaps. So we took a call, and the next thing you know, we hired our first Cyberbacker. His name was Arvi. And within about a month and a half, through a series of events, health group, it doesn't matter why, we had 2 people leave our office, and Arvi picked up the slack, and he did his job plus the job of 2 other people at an incredibly high level. And we said, okay, there's something to this. And so we went to family reunion, and I found out there was going to be an opportunity to buy into the franchises. And Kelly and I immediately talked to Craig Goodliffe, and we said, we're in, if you'll take us. And we bought the northern half of Ohio, the franchise for the northern half of Ohio. So instead of being this thing now where it's far, far away, you have somebody boots on the ground that you can talk to. I don't know if Eddie's on this call or not. Eddie and I had to work through a problem a month or so ago on being able to find someone for him to replace someone, but I made that happen for him. So here's what you can use Cyberbackers for. So many different things. Part-time, full-time, first of all, about $1,300 for a full-time Cyberbacker to run your CRM, to do your social media marketing, to track your social media results. They can do your transaction management. You name it. If it is a task that does not require licensing and it does not require a physical presence, they can do it. Most of these people are at least have undergraduate degrees. A lot of them have advanced degrees. And they're crazy intelligent people, and they do a great job. And that money to them is life-changing. That puts them in the top 10% of all earners in their country to make that kind of money. So it's a big deal to them, but it makes it affordable for us. If you don't feel like you have enough work to be able to use someone full-time, you can hire a part-time person 20 hours a week to do social media, to do your transaction management. The biggest thing that we found is the CRM management, is the database management. There's so much value in that. Yesterday, I sat and watched. Kelly has what's called a prime Cyberbacker who stays with her all day. And she sat with him on the computer while she made phone calls. He told her what numbers to dial. She dialed, and she went through, she had 250 old leads she was trying to resurrect, and she decided she's going to do 50 a day all week. They got through all 50 leads, made notes, made changes to the CRM. Arvi put in the information in the CRM. He sent out information as requested to the clients. She ended up getting 2 listing appointments and a buyer yesterday, sitting at this table where I'm sitting today by leveraging her Cyberbacker. So look, it's not for everyone, but if you have questions, that's my number. Email me at the mike.davis@kw.com. We can talk about it. It either works for you or it doesn't. I don't try and shove this down people's throat. Not everybody's ready, but when you are ready, trust me, there's no greater form of leveraging people than to have somebody working for you full time who is your person. So that's my little spiel on Cyberbacker. Mike, is there any other questions that you have or anyone has that I can help with?
We'll leave it up. The chat's open. So if anybody has a question about any of the stuff that Mike covered today, the GPS, the 411, I love just, doubling down on that component around time block. For those of you who are looking for those templates, we'll send those out as follow-up to this meeting of a GPS and a 411. I'll tell you, anyone who needs help structuring those, right? From, what should my goal be? What should my priority be? What should a strategy be? I'd love to do that. It is a massive piece of leverage. You can also go on YouTube, Keller Williams GPS, Keller Williams 411. There's about a 500,000 different videos of people working through those. It is a great tool. If you have a coaching relationship, you probably have a 411 at the very least, and very likely a GPS as well. And I'll give one more plug for Cyberbacker. We leverage it. I leverage it personally, as a part of my role with the company. Huge resource, huge asset. And I will tell you, I've not met, if we have about 471 agents in our market center. I could count on one hand the number that I think do database well. Okay.
It's crazy.
And I'm obsessed with database, and I don't do it very well. And I've been able to do it at a significantly higher level to produce significantly better results for our company because of our Cyberbacker GM.
It works. It just the database management works. The last thing I want to say, Mike, and I'll bounce off your meeting, is when you talk about leverage, I am in a lot of different offices, Keller Williams and otherwise. And I will tell you that you guys on this call have Mike Rapaski for leverage. He is absolutely one of the best. And I'm not blowing sunshine up your hind end. I'm not. I see a lot. And sometimes I walk away going, ooh, that could be better, right? You got a guy here who is killing it for you every single day and who honestly cares about your success and cares about your growth and your family and all of the culture that comes with this company. He cares about it. And I mean, it took him away from a job where he had to travel with no shirt. So that's a whole other story that if you guys want to know, you need to ask him about if you haven't heard it yet. So, all right, that's all I got.
Well, thank you, Mike. I truly appreciate that, and am excited for our continued partnership. And I promise that I promise everybody you'll see Mike again at some point. Appreciate you answering the bell, and look forward to a big year for KW, a big year for Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan, and a big year for Cyberbacker here in Northern Ohio. So thank you, Mike. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around a little longer with us today. If you need help with your GPS, your 411, your business plan, your goals, your action plan, please let me know. I'm here for you. Thanks, everyone.